What's up guys and welcome back to On The Brick. I've received a ton of questions asking where someone can buy custom Lego, be it minifigures, decals, or entire custom sets. And I realized I should probably make a video about that instead of continuously answering every single question, which I still will by the way, but I did want to make a single hub for all of your custom Lego needs. While I am talking about a ton of different places here, I'm sure that I have forgotten at least one seller, so if I have, please let me know any in the comments down below so we can make a fully comprehensive list. So let's start off by talking about minifigures. And to start the category of minifigures, let's look at where you can find printed minifigures. The first place that you can check, and this is the case for the majority of the items I talk about today, is eBay. I have found plenty of custom printed figures on there from a variety of different sellers. I even found Brick Vault stuff on there, but we'll talk about that in a second. Obviously, the majority of the viewers on this channel are Star Wars fans, and if that's you, then you probably already know about Clone Army Customs. They mainly focus on clones, selling just about every clone that's ever existed, with a ton more on the way still, but they also sell items like Mandalorians, weapon packs, backpacks, any accessories, all that kind of stuff. All of their figures are 360-degree printed, and he is constantly putting out new items and always has stuff in stock, so I would highly recommend checking him out if for any reason you haven't yet. But maybe you're a fan of Star Wars and you don't want clones, then I would go ahead and check out Big Kid Bricks. Do be aware that I am putting a big ol' asterisk on this for a few different reasons. If you watched my videos talking about his Bad Batch figures, then you probably already know that some of his figures use non-Lego parts, and while I personally don't have a problem with that, he's not exactly upfront about it. That said, the majority of the molds you see on his site are custom ones that he himself has made, and that's why his prices are a little higher. He does not use 360-degree printing, but he does offer a huge variety that other sellers don't. Jedi, Sith, other Mandalorians, and if you are not a fan of Star Wars and you like other sci-fi properties, he's got you covered. He sells a whole ton of stuff from like Doctor Who, or Star Trek if you're a fan of that too. He also has an eBay page, so if anything is ever sold out on his website, I would recommend checking that out just to see. And at some point relatively soon, I do plan to make an actual review video of Big Kid Bricks, because there's some stuff to say there. The next place you can buy custom printed minifigures from is one that I'm not sure how many people are going to be okay with, but it is Calypso Customs on Etsy. I'm pretty sure that they are also on eBay, but just under a different name. I can't not confirm that these are the same people though, but I'm like 99% certain because it's the same figures. There's a lot to talk about with these guys, but they also sell a lot of Star Wars and non-Star Wars figures. They do have 360-degree printing and even offer custom molds. But similar to Big Kid Bricks, at least some of the pieces they use do come from non-Lego companies, and they also don't disclose this, and their printing is a little lower quality. However, they do offer a ton of figures, so I wanted to put it on this list anyway. The next seller you can buy from actually started on eBay, but just like 2 days ago rebranded and now has their own website, and that is Engineerio. While I have definitely purchased some of their items, I would be lying if I said it was top quality. Just like the last two though, they do sell Star Wars and non-Star Wars figures. They have a good variety there, but they do not use 360-degree printing. In fact, their printing is pretty minimal. And to be completely honest, I would stay away from some of their clones. Thankfully, a lot of the other figures that they sell are just amazing. They only use official Lego, and like I said, they offer a huge variety of figures, so I would recommend checking it out. Moving along, the next three stores do sell complete minifigures, but also sell minifigure parts, bodies, helmets, etc. These stores are more for if you want to buy custom clones but can't spend the full $30 or so it takes to get one from Clone Army Customs. And the first store to look at in that regards is of course Minifig Madness. If you've watched this channel for any length of time, then you pretty much know I have a love-hate relationship with them. I absolutely love a lot of the figures that they put out and own a lot of their items, but there are also some things that I just don't like, and I explain that in my full video about them. That said, obviously I'm still recommending them because they are on this list. They do sell a good amount of non-Star Wars items as well. They have figures from Marvel, DC, Batman, and even Avatar: The Last Airbender. But in the world of Star Wars, they do have their own custom helmets and sell clone bodies for $15. These are just the bodies here, but if you get this and have some helmets of your own, maybe it is a cheaper option. These figures are 360-degree printed, but you should be aware that I personally have experience, and I have seen a lot of other people experience problems with the printing. Usually it's smeary or just not as fine-tuned as somewhere like Clone Army Customs. It's not something that's happened on every single figure of mine. In fact, the majority have been perfectly fine, but it has happened enough that I wanted to talk about it and say something. In a similar vein is a company that I only recently discovered, and that is the Minifig Co. These guys offer a huge variety of items. They have accessories, printed tiles, a whole ton of stuff. And when it comes to complete minifigures, they also have a decent variety. It's not too much, but along with their Star Wars figures, they have things from like the Princess Bride, from Home Alone, Bob Ross even. But just like Minifig Madness, the main focus is just bodies instead, and they have a ton of those. You can buy military bodies from all sorts of eras, and if you're into Star Wars, they also sell custom bodies. These are only $12, they're even cheaper than that, full 360-degree printing as well, and they even offer shiny and hardened versions. The only problem that I've seen with Minifig Co. is that sometimes their customer service is pretty bad. While I personally haven't experienced that, I have heard it enough times to want to mention it here. And finally, the last store when it comes to printed minifigures is of course Aerialite. Two quick things about Aerialite. First, they are 100% Star Wars, it's pretty much all they sell. And second, I believe they are actually based out of Europe, so if you live there, this is a lot easier for you. However, I have ordered from them multiple times and have had no issues. In fact, the shipping has been incredibly quick. It might be a little confusing looking at things on their website, as for some reason they don't show their custom figures put together and instead it's all just the digital files. They do not use 360-degree printing, but the custom elements are made by them, and in fact, you've probably noticed other sellers using their helmets. They sell the individual parts of everything that they offer, and by that I mean you can buy just the helmets, just the torsos, printed, not printed, accessories, everything. They do have a weird fascination with Twi'leks for some reason, but if you're into fig barfs or anything like that, this is a good place to get some items. And I know I said that was the last one, but there is one honorable mention, and that is Firestar Toys. They are also based out of Europe. I believe they are actually in England, but their shipping is incredibly quick. The reason that I've left them to last here is because they don't really sell their own items. In fact, if you are in Europe, this is a great way to get some of those custom figures you might not otherwise have been able to. And while they do technically sell their own custom figures, what I've come to find out is that most of them aren't necessarily custom, they just are fig barfs more than anything. Also, this disclaimer is just hilarious. You can't really say that it is in no way affiliated or associated with copyrighted and trademarked products or brands when you full on know it is. Oh, one more honorable mention, and they're an honorable mention because I forgot about them. Nash Vegas Bricks. These guys are exclusively on eBay. They do sell a ton of figures from all of these other sellers, and even have some of their own. Their prices are a little cheaper, but I've also purchased from them plenty of times. I would highly recommend checking them out. And that is finally all of the places that you can buy custom printed minifigures. So next is of course decals, and in the world of decals there is no place bigger than AV Figures. I'm not gonna lie, there are a lot of things about AV Figures that I just do not like, but they've also improved a ton since the videos I made about them. While they do sell some printed figures, they tend not to be in stock, and besides, you're here for the decals anyway. Part of the reason that they are the biggest place to go is because they really don't like other people making decals as well. which is weird because decals have been around a lot longer than AV has. However, their decals are top quality, they have a huge variety of them, and of course they sell all sorts of supplies and everything that you might need for decaling a figure. Seriously, if you are looking for really good decals, this is like the only place you need to go. Or, if anything here is sold out, you can always check out Star Wars Fanatics. This is actually where I tend to buy my decals from, unless they happen to be sold out, but Star Wars Fanatics is a wonderful guy who I really need to show off more of his work. He has a few different decals from a few different companies, and he also does commissions of decaled figures, so if you don't want to do them yourself, but you do like how they look, you can pay him and he will do them for you. He actually has a team behind it, but still. Just like anytime you want top quality, you are going to have to pay for this, of course, but from my experience, it is worth it. But maybe you want simpler decals or this just isn't your type, then the only other place I'm aware of is Teo's Lego Garage. Unfortunately, I have not purchased from him for like a year now, so I can't say too much on him, but I wanted to include him here. Also, I know some of you are going to be asking about Jonak Toys and what's been going on there. Well, truth be told, I actually don't know. At the time of making this video, he's kind of just disappeared for the last few months, really only making like a single post in that time. I've had a lot of people asking me about what's going on with him and what's happening with their orders. So for the time being, I'm gonna say just stay away until we know exactly what's going on. When it comes to custom figures, it's not just printed or decaled, there is actually one more type, and it is what I'm calling do-it-yourself, because you kind of have to do it all yourself. These are figures that use custom 3D printed parts that you then have to paint. I've shown off some of them on my channel and have way more on the way. When it comes to these kind of figures, there are only 3 stores that I'm aware of. There used to be 4, rest in peace Custom Brick Builder. Okay, he's not dead, he's just not able to do it anymore. But I have talked about Nate's minifigs recently on this channel, and I would still highly recommend him. At the time of making this video, he is currently getting married, so he's unavailable during the month of June. Congratulations to you, sir. But the stuff that he makes is tremendous, and I would highly recommend it. He makes a ton of Mandalorian stuff, clone trooper things, even just made an Iron Man suit, which I personally love. You can buy all of the parts individually as packs. I believe he even has lightsabers now. He has absolutely incredible customer service, and I've seriously, even though I've had some problems with him, he has fixed all of them, and none of them have really been his fault anyway. If you're looking at really designing your own figures, something like Hoodie Studios might do, this is a place that you should definitely check out. And along with him, there's also DecalersINC. I recently purchased from them and still need to show them off on my channel. Their prices are a little more expensive than I would like in certain areas, and their shipping took forever, but the quality of the products is still good, and they offer a different variety than what Nate does. They also offer decaled minifigures, but the majority of their items have become those 3D printed parts. And the last seller for this part is a guy that I want to buy so much more from, Tumino. He is based out of Europe again, so if you're out there, this is much more for you, but he does ship internationally. It might just take some time. I have purchased a single figure from him so far that I plan to show off at some point, but all of his stuff is so good. This guy is seriously talented, and I know his prices are a little high, but it is totally worth it. And I'm not just saying that because he sells a ton of Iron Man stuff, but I'm definitely saying that because he sells a ton of Iron Man stuff. He also sells printed figures, which are really exceptionally well done, again using part of the custom pieces that he has made. And finally, with all of that, we are done with minifigures. That is everywhere that I would recommend going to if you want to buy any sort of custom minifigure at all. But as we all know, in the world of custom LEGO, there's much more than just minifigures. There's also MOCs and custom sets. So the first thing to talk about there is where can you find instructions? Okay, instructions are a little weird because there's only one place I know of that will sell you instructions that are actually good quality and thoroughly checked every single time. And that is Brick Vault. While they do have some instructions with some issues, I know when I buy instructions from them, it's gonna be good. It might not be great, usually they are, but I know that it won't be bad, at least not now that they got rid of their old Naboo starfighter and redid it. They obviously sell mainly Star Wars instructions, but they do have instructions for all sorts of different themes and shows, movies, whatever you want. Back to the Future, Batman, Mad Max, even Horizon Zero Dawn, which is awesome. If for any reason you haven't checked them out, you probably should. And again, I want to be clear here, these are just instructions. Now, the biggest and probably otherwise best place to go for instructions is of course Rebrickable. Rebrickable does have some things that it can do a lot better, and there are also a few problems here. First, anyone can upload to Rebrickable. And second, there isn't really any sort of quality check on the instructions. Sometimes I've purchased some that have just been outright terrible. And then there's also the problem that in order to even find the instructions for something you're looking for, that would require the designer to put in the effort of listing all the tags and everything that might be needed so it can be found. But if you're willing to look and keep refining your searches, I'm sure you will find something you love. If you are a fan of planes, mainly military planes, then I would recommend going to planebricks.com. I actually do have some of their instructions that maybe at some point I'll show off. I haven't actually built any of their sets, so take that with a grain of salt. Another place you can buy instructions is from AFOL TV. That's a weird word to say in real life when you actually think about it, AFOL. However, I'm going to put a giant asterisk on this one as well. I purchased 3 of their instructions and had to make changes to all 3 in order to even be able to buy the sets to begin with. And this is what I was talking about with quality control, because they tend to use extremely rare pieces or sometimes just non-existent pieces. Like, I think in one set they had a door in dark blue that just doesn't exist in dark blue. But that said, they sell a ton of stuff, and I've obviously not gone through everything here. And who knows, maybe you'll find something you like. And when it comes to instructions, that's kind of it, actually. One other thing I tend to do is just look on Instagram, and if I find a mock I like, most of the time they have a link to the instructions, or you can usually DM the designer for them as well. But of course, there is one final category when it comes to custom Lego, and that is buying the kits themselves, because a few places actually do that. First, to get it out of the way, and because I have to mention it, my own store, ONTHEBRICK.FUN. I sell all sorts of part kits there for pretty much everything Star Wars. I have some Star Trek, Stargate. I also have a bunch of space sets, Battlestar Galactica, a ton of sci-fi because that's just what I tend to be into, but if there's ever a set that you are interested in, please do let me know. If you are in Europe, a great place to buy complete kits is buildamock.com. They have a huge variety here as well. I have personally not purchased anything from this website though, but it is endorsed by people like Papa Glop, so that is why I'm putting it on this list. Another place you can get specifically Star Wars mocks in Europe is Dave Custom's website. He's the guy who's created Brick Vault's ATTE, Gunship, all that sort of stuff, and he now sells part kits for a bunch of different sets on his website. While you can buy this in America, the one and only time I did took over 2 months to get to me, so I would just be a little wary about that. Dave is a great guy and all, I have no qualms there at all. It's really just the international shipping that could end up being problematic, but the designs he sells are pretty great, so might as well check it out. And finally, we come to Brick Mania, a place that so many people have asked me to purchase from, and I don't know if that's something that I will do. They tend to focus more on the military side of things, which, if you know anything about me, is not really something I enjoy. But more than that, their prices are just really expensive. I mean, this is a 1,300 piece set for $800. Sorry, that is just ridiculously high for that. But I know a lot of people really love what they have, and they do sell a lot. You can buy instructions here, you can buy the full kits, they even sell minifigures. So if you are a fan of military things, this might be worth checking out. And that is everything. Like I said, let me know if I forgot anywhere in the comments down below. I am absolutely positive I did. There are a few places that I am aware of and just did not put on this list for very specific reasons. Even places like Extra Minifigures, who I absolutely love, but again, kind of disappeared in February and is only now coming back. And unless it becomes a continuous thing, I really just didn't want to recommend it, but then again, I kind of am doing that here now. Please do remember to like this video if you liked everything you saw, and subscribe if you would like to see more. I want to send a huge thank you to all of my patrons, including the newest supporter, Dustin. I am so sorry that I did not put you into the last video, but I wanted to say a huge thank you to you for your support. Also, I do want to send a thank you to both Jonathan M and Project Elements for their continued support. You can join them in the description down below as well. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you next time.